Hello everyone, welcome to the CollingsThodeNetwork and welcome to a stream that I've been looking forward to for a long time now as we're going to break down the top 5 starting pitching rotations in MLB. Well, I say top 5, but we might extend the list just a little bit to talk about more teams today as a little bit of a later stream than I was planning on, but I ended up doing a lot more research for this than I intended on, and well, I don't think that's so much of a bad thing now, is it? As I've gone through every single MLB team and taken their top 5 projected WAR pitchers and put them on a list. Now, on that list, I added up the sums of all these projected WARs, and it gave me a total. That total being the projected wins above replacement for the starting rotations for every team. Now, this is a statistical look. This is not my opinion. If you think these are wrong, then you go down into the comments and you let me know. You get angry about it. If you think your team deserves to be in this top 5, then hey, have at it. So for the rules that I went into this with, we started with Fangraphs. I was on Fangraphs looking at all the data here. And there's 2 tools mainly that I like using to project stats, and that's Zips and that's Streamer. Now, Streamer I find doesn't account for injuries as much and thus has a higher projected total. Sometimes, though, on Zips, you'll get teams with more. So as we hop into this list, we'll go over some of those teams that have more on Zips, more on Streamer, and, well, we'll just jump right into it with our last team, our honorable mention, my very own Toronto Blue Jays, as we're projected to have 13.7 WAR. This is on Streamer, which is giving us our higher total of the two, as they have Dylan Cease, Kevin Gausman, Cody Ponce, Trey Savage, and Shane Bieber being our top 5 pitchers. And this has Cody Ponce being our 3rd best pitcher, which is kind of wild to me. If we look over at Zips, it goes Cease, Gausman, Bieber, Savage, Ponce, which, hey, no matter what, that's the starting 5 for the projected stats. And hey, if you disagree with it, then go down in the comments, go in the chat, and let me know all about it. But now we will officially be jumping in to our top 5 as our number 5 team for projected WAR on their starting pitching is the Los Angeles Dodgers. Yeah, the LA Dodgers are 5th. Shout out to everyone in my comments of the YouTube short I posted that if Valdez went to the Blue Jays, we'd have the best starting lineup, as I got basically exclusively Dodger fans in the comments of that saying I was wrong. Yeah, your team's not that good either, folks. We're right there at 6-5. So yeah, 14.3 projected WAR, as this is the higher of the 2 numbers. The other number was like 11. So I'm being polite to you guys. Not that you deserve it, as the top 5 players, or pitchers I should say, in WAR are Yamamoto, Snell, Glasnow, Ohtani, and Sheehan. Now, you could put Roki Sasaki in here. That's fine, but those are the 5 that we're going to do for this list. And yeah, I think it's a very good 5. I think 3 WAR for Blake Snell, unless he plays a good amount of games. This has him pitching 151 innings. We'll see. We'll see if Blake Snell's got that in him this year, if he's got a 3 WAR in him. But yeah, for the rest of it, it's not so bad. Of course, it's a deep room. I'll give them that. But that's about all I can give them, as there's a lot of teams that just, they offer a little bit more, such as our number 3 team, the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies were shockingly good to me, like shockingly good. Going through this list of guys, it's Christopher Sanchez, Jesus Luzardo, Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, and then in my notes, I wrote down, consulting the paper here, in my notes, I wrote down Painter, but it could just as well be Taijuan Walker here, stepping up and being that 5th guy. Regardless, in WAR, it's either going to be Painter, who's projected to put up 0.7 wins above replacement, or Walker at 0.4. Regardless, this is a 4-man group, and that's where it ends. It really is just the 4 players that lead the way, of course, that being, again, Sanchez, Luzardo, Wheeler, Nola. 4 guys that legitimately in any given season can compete for a Cy Young. So, yeah, no surprises here that they're at a 15.4, as it was very surprising that, yeah, this 4-man group was enough to lead them the way. It's just, yeah, that 5th man is tough for the Phillies. Yeah, it's literally the only thing holding them back. And if you are a Phillies fan or just watching baseball, if you're a fan of a team that is rather bad, expect your team to trade your pitcher to the Phillies at some point this year. I'd be shocked, genuinely shocked, if the Phillies didn't make a trade for a new starter. So that's the Philadelphia Phillies as we hop into our top three. I almost held up six. Top three teams coming up soon. But first, I want to give an honorable mention to the the seventh best team on this list, as the Blue Jays were at 6 as an honorable mention. This team just .1 WAR behind the Toronto Blue Jays. The Cincinnati Reds. Yeah, I was genuinely surprised. The Cincinnati Reds had the 7th best pitching rotation according to projected WAR at a 13.6. Shockingly good rotation. As I'll pull it up actually for you, because I want to take another look here at Cincinnati, because they deserve some respect for what they've done to build this pitching staff. I mean, I look at these guys and I think to myself, yeah, you got some names in there. Of course, we all know Hunter Green. Hunter Green's great. And then guys they brought back, Nick Lodolo, Brady Singer, Andrew Abbott, and then they put in Chase Burns to be the number 2. Yeah, shout out Cincinnati. I think they have a really good starting rotation. As either way, enough stalling. We're going to hop right in to the top 3 starting pitching rotations this season. So coming up in our third best spot is the Boston Red Sox. And again, no surprises here. A team that is a big spender let's just say they went big in free agency. Of course, brought in some other guys. But the big one, I think, was Sonny Gray. I think that was a trade deadline acquisition. I can't remember. But they also brought in Ranger Suarez, which hurts my soul. It hits me deep, because Ranger Suarez, when he pitched for the Phillies, I want to say, was one of my favorite fantasy baseball additions. He was one of those guys that always went undrafted, started the season kind of poor, and then became a Cy Young candidate at the end of the year. Last year, I think he was top 3 in Cy Young voting. You'll have to correct me on that, but no surprises to see this squad here. It is, of course, that 5th spot that's going to be weird for him, as they've got Johan Oviedo or Patrick Sandoval as their 5th best guy. And again, another team like the Phillies that, hey, they are fantastic with their main 4, with, of course, Bello, Suarez, Gray, and Crochet. But that 5th guy could be what needs to take them over the spot. I also wrote in my notes that an even better season from Crochet, which I know I'm asking for a lot here for Garrett Crochet, but no reason to believe this guy can't be amazing, great, if not better than he was last year. And if he is, then this Boston Red Sox starting 5 pitching group legitimately will be the best. So it kind of scares me a bit. I won't lie to you, as another fan of a team in the American League. This definitely scares me coming up for the Boston Red Sox. And now heading into our top 2 teams, we actually have a tie for the best. So before we hop into that, I'll let you know who the worst is, because you're probably thinking about it. And, well, it's no surprise, the Colorado Rockies, the only team under 6 projected WAR. Again, this is 5 guys on your pitching rotation, your 5 best guys. And you don't even average more than 1.2 per player. That's crazy to me. That's roster management malpractice at its finest. As looking at the other end of the spectrum, 2 teams tied for first. We'll start with the Seattle Mariners. Again, another team where you say to yourself, no surprises to see this team here. I mean, we saw it as Blue Jay fans in the playoffs. Most people saw it just in the regular season. This, in my opinion, is the best starting 5. That's just up to me, though. And if I'm wrong about that, you flame me, whatever. I just think maybe, just maybe, it's not the highest of heights. But the floor is on the second highest, I feel like. As this team's talent floor, skill floor, whatever you want to call it, is so good. They got Brian Wu leading the way with a 3.3 WAR. And you might think to yourself, that's not crazy. How is this team at 16? Well, Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Luis Castillo, and Bryce Miller. They add up for 3.3, 3.2, 3.1, 2.3, and a 1.4. I think a 1.4 projected WAR for Bryce Miller is kind of disrespectful, for being honest with each other. They project him to start 26 games, and even if he only does that, I really think a 1.4 WAR is going to be pretty easy for Bryce Miller. Now, of course, Zips has Bryce Miller at a 1.7, but it does have the rest of the group a little worse than Streamer does. So, yeah, I mean, you look at that group and you think to yourself, that's 5 aces. That really is. Any of these guys on any other team would be the best pitcher. Pretty close to it, in my opinion. If not the second best pitcher. Because you got teams like the Pirates, you got teams like, well, first place, where, yeah, no one's going to be better than their best pitchers, but you look at these guys. Brian Wu could be a stud ace on some team. Same with Logan Gilbert, same with George Kirby, and Castillo was the ace of this team forever, and now he doesn't have to be. It's pitcher paradise. And, of course, Seattle, not a great place to be, hitting the ball. There's the big, the fog that rolls in. It makes the air thicker and the ball doesn't travel so far. It's why a guy like Teoscar Hernandez struggled mightily there. He said he didn't like it. There's a lot of things about Seattle that are just not great for hitters, making this pitching rotation all the sweeter. So, sure, maybe there are some ballpark biases that are going into my pick of this being my favorite pitching staff, because at this next one, there's really no biases you could say. I feel like it's just straight up talent for number one, and that's going to be the Detroit Tigers, as this group is incredible. Now, I will say Streamer has them a lot better than Zips does, but either way, on Streamer or Zips, it's either 15.4 or 16. Now, for the Seattle Mariners, it was either 13 or 16. For the Phillies, it was either 13.7 or 15. So, yeah, this is far and away the best. No, regardless of which way you slice it. I personal opinion, I would rather take the 5 guys out of Seattle than all 5 guys out of Detroit, because, well, let's just say their top guy's doing a little bit of carrying, as Tarek Skubal is projected 5.9 wins above replacement, which, hey, of all guys to deserve it, it is Tarek Skubal. In his last season, he would have a 6.6 WAR. And in 2024, he had a 6 WAR. So this is actually projecting regression just a tiny bit. Now, on Zips, it has him projected 6.3 WAR. That's exactly what you would expect. Streamer, of course, has the higher number. So let's look at that for our projected WAR. Now, this starting 5 is Tarek Skubal, Framber Valdez, Jack Flaherty, Casey Mize, or Mies. I don't know how to say it. I'll be real with you. And then number 5, Streamer has Justin Verlander, which is really funny. It's not going to be Justin Verlander. We could all be honest with each other. He's like 43. More likely than not, it's going to be Drew Anderson, who actually had a really good stretch of games last year, became super fantasy relevant. Either way, he's projected a 1.9 on Zips. On Streamer, our guy, Justin Verlander, is projected 1.6. Drew Anderson is projected 0.7. Weirdly enough, as Streamer has Drew Anderson being a full-time reliever, Zips has Drew Anderson being a full-time starter. Whichever way you slice it, Verlander, Anderson, the rest of those guys are so good. And then, Tarek Skubal's Tarek Skubal. No wonder this team is number one. And now you might be thinking to yourself, what about that other team that has the best pitcher in the world? And that would be Paul Skeens on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Well, the Pittsburgh Pirates don't spend a lot of money. They came, 8th place in the rankings, tied with the Texas Rangers. That is mostly carried by Skeens, as in the top 3 on both Streamer and Zips, Skeens found himself either second or third. Skeens on Zips had a 5 WAR and a 5.7 on Streamer. Now keep in mind, the top 4 pitchers just in the league overall on these two statistics would be Skubal at 1 with a 6.3 Zips, a 5.9 Streamer. It would be Crochet at 2 with a 5.5 Zips, a 5.5 Streamer. Skeens at 3 with a 5 Zips, a 5.7 Streamer. Logan Webb from San Francisco with a 5 Zips and a 4.9 Streamer. They love him. They love him a lot. And then the last guy is Sanchez, which is going to be from the Phillies, of course, with a 4.3 Zips or a 4.7 Streamer. That's your top 5 pitching. Makes perfectly complete sense that, well, the Detroit Tigers are here, and that's gonna do it. That's your top 5 starting pitching rotations heading into next season. Let me know what you think, and where you think your team's going to shake out, and let me know if you think this list was completely incorrect, as this is all based on statistics. I might come back on another episode and give my opinion for my top 5, but for now, that is going to do it. So sound off in the comments if you have an issue with it. Either way, hit subscribe on the CollingsThodeNetwork. This has been Curtis, and peace.